folks have turned to feeling intimidated by you because you have bossed up. This was not what they thought was going to take place. They thought that you were going to be in a sorry position for a very long time, or they thought that you were never going to branch out. You were going to be regular or ordinary, and they found solace in that. But now they're intimidated because they see that you have risen to the occasion much more than they could have. That was not a part of the plan, you know? And here's the thing about bossing up. It starts with the mind first, because if you believe that you can do it, and if you have your mind intact and you believe and you're diligent and you're willing to do that work, you're already halfway there to the glory. And a lot of people will really not understand or really take into consideration or appreciate how important it is to have a positive mindset when you're trying to reach the top, right? When you're trying to go for the top, the materialistic things in your world, it's not even part of the story. It's so insignificant in comparison to your mind and actually believing that you will get there, believing, knowing, willing to have that tenacity, that mental tenacity to get it done, because sometimes it's very hard, to go after your dreams, especially when you don't believe in yourself, or especially when your mind's not right. So you did the right thing by remaining steadfast and remaining true to yourself and remaining very sure that you were going to get to where you wanted to be. You were going to put in that work. You were going to do everything that you could to get to the top. And that's where you're at right now. People are starting to get intimidated by your high position or your high rank now, because maybe they remember a time when you were always low or you were always lacking, and they thought that was your story. They thought that that was just going to be you, and that, and they thought it was cool. They thought it was kind of funny. And they also thought that that meant they could have the upper hand over you, or, they can surpass you, or, people behave cocky and arrogant because they will compare your life to theirs, and they will see you, they'll size you up, and they think that because maybe you're taking smaller steps, or because you don't have all the material wealth that they might have, that means that you're going to be unsuccessful. These folks are scared now, scared of you, because they see that, no, you are a success story. Your greatness has been brewing. And they were too materialistic and too superficial to read between the lines to see what you were really putting together here. Now that you've bossed up, people are kind of frightened by you. Like, oh, I didn't see that coming from this dude. I thought this guy was he's doing this now. I thought he was still down there. I thought he was still living in that place. What? And you take people by surprise, because the way that you boss up, you did it more humbly. You did it more quietly. You didn't have to yell it from the rooftops. You don't have to move like that. That's what a lot of these people do. They have to yell it. They have to broadcast it. And in the end, it's all fluff. Whereas with you, it was always genuine. With you, you just wanted to go higher. You wanted to be your own boss. You wanted to do your own thing and live your best life. And you had that mind. It was so solid. You may have told people what you wanted to do. You may have told people what you wanted to aim for. And people could have shut it down and been like, that's not for you. Or you're not going to be able to do that. Or I don't see that in your future. And then they're not around when you're working on it. They're not around when you're tweaking it. They're not around when you kind of like configuring everything in your life to make that goal take place, or to get your blessings, to make them manifest. People really, underestimated your skills, talents, and abilities. They underestimated your steadfast nature. They didn't really understand that you could make, something from nothing. And a lot of us have. A lot of us had to start from the bottom, where it didn't seem or didn't look at all like a boss. It didn't seem like somebody who had a plan. It didn't seem like somebody who had a vision. But, maybe people have shut you down so often that you hid the vision now. You don't talk about your dreams. You don't talk about what you're aiming for anymore. You don't talk about what you're building. You build silently. You decided to build quietly, humbly, until people see what you've been doing the whole time. Then they get scared and intimidated. They know you don't have to do what they do. They know that you don't have to move the way they move. You move different, right? You have a different cadence. The style, the way you go about building your life to where you want to build it to differs from what the majority would do, right? Because the majority is more superficial. So in order to show that there's somebody, they have to flaunt their wealth, or they have to flaunt their world to make it seem like, yeah, I'm really important. But when they lay their head on their pillow, they're not happy in life, you know? Something's lacking, something's not right. And it's because they don't actually have that real joy, that real flair, that genuine heart. It's all for Insta, you know? It's all for social media. And they don't heal themselves, and they don't do it for themselves. They do it for everybody else, like anybody cares. You know what I mean? You have to do it for yourself. You're a real boss, you know, because you knew that if I want to go higher in life, if I want to get more in life, I had better do it for me. I had better do it because this is my, you know, my life, and the way that it goes is very important. I want to make sure I'm going the right way. I want to make sure I'm getting everything that I desire. I want to make sure that my mission is being fulfilled in the way that I feel called to fulfill it. I want to make sure that it's genuine. I want to make sure that it's paced. I want to make sure that there's no drama around it, that you protect and you cultivate this growth. You're a boss in every sense of the word, in every sense of the term. You are a boss, and there's not a lot of people that can mess with you out here. And it's not a lot of people, and that's the thing that intimidates them as well. If they realize now that, wow, you've been building this in the background quietly, and we didn't know, people start feeling threatened by that because it's what they don't know, right? It's what they didn't see. And now they're seeing it. It's like, wow, so you were able to produce all of that quietly? You were able to do that by yourself? I needed like 5 people to help me. You did that by yourself quietly. Now you're there. I remember when you were down here, and they start comparing and contrasting. They get intimidated. They start getting spooked because they see that you're very resourceful and you're very intelligent. You're able to use what you have to get higher in life. You're able to show how humble you are, and you use everything to your advantage. You use everything, you think 10 steps ahead. You know, a lot of people are going to be very, very scared of you because, you know, when it comes to being a boss, you know, bosses tend to have a negative connotation, but you have more of a positive aura. You're the type of boss that is willing to learn, to be taught, because a boss does not know everything. You know, the portrayals of how we see a boss to be, especially in the media, are so inaccurate. The bosses are angry. The bosses are volatile, cocky, arrogant. The bosses, you know, they dictate what everybody else does, and then, you know, they can do no wrong. You probably stumbled along the way, made a lot of mistakes, a lot of missteps. You know, you did things that were unsavory. You made choices that weren't correct, but all of these things were helping you be a better boss, to be the right boss in your own right, to build the future that is tailor-made for you. That's what a real boss does. Not only willing to lead, but willing to be taught. And you're able to balance the two. And it's very intimidating because people know, like, wow, you have a soft heart. You have a soft spot for humanity, for growth, for learning, for education. You are just the whole package. You're the boss. You live life the way you want to live. You don't live life for other people. You live life because it's what you want to see. It's what you worked for. That's scary to people because a lot of times, like I said, people have to flaunt their wealth for everybody else. They're not doing it for themselves. Because if you had to do it for yourself, or if you were doing it for yourself, why do you have to flaunt it? You know, or why do you have to be extra with it, be flamboyant with it, be, you know, brash with it? Why don't you just do it in a way where, you know you're happy, you know you're successful, and you move on? That's probably how you move. And that's intimidating. You're a humble boss, you know, a humble learner who decided that, listen, you know, I know what I want to see for myself. I know what I want to see for my future. I know what I want to see for my career, for a love life, for my children's lives. You know, you bossed up. You bossed up. And now when people, you know, people are going to be lurking on your life very heavily. People are going to be lurking on your life because they see that you obviously were able to build something quietly. You were able to build something from nothing. Remember, a lot of these individuals probably remember when you were at a low spot in life. They remember when you didn't have a lot, or it seemed like you didn't know too much. But little did they know that you actually were highly intelligent, highly resourceful, but maybe you didn't have everything lined up in a row. Maybe you didn't have everything the way you wanted it to be. Maybe you had to struggle. Maybe there was a lot of lack, but up here you were never lacking, you know, and that's what they failed to think about. You were never lacking in your mind. Now these folks are seeing that you bossed up. It's like overnight. You bossed up and you're not looking the same. You're not moving the same. You're moving different. You've always been different. And when you finally been ushered into this path that's only tailor-made for you, people are starting to see, wow, like you're vastly, like they knew you were different, but they see now like you're in a whole league of your own. They have never seen something like this. Someone being able to boss up and go high in the ranks, and you're still humble and you're still willing to be taught and you're still helping humanity, and you've healed, and it's a sight to behold. So yes, you got folks intimidated out here because you bossed up. It seems like it happened overnight, but it's been brewing for sometimes decades, right? So stay steadfast on your growth. Continue to be the boss you always envisioned yourself to be. And don't feel bad about stepping into this newfound energy. What you've worked for, what you sought for, you sought this life. And now you have this life. Now you're happy. Now everything's working out for you. Don't feel bad because people are upset about the fact that you're your own boss, that no one tells you what to do. You do what you want to do, right? And if they're intimidated, oh, well, they're going to be intimidated for a very long time, because this is just the beginning of your bosshood. You know what I mean? This is a lifelong thing. You're going to continue to get creativity, ideas, more visions, more dreams. The floodgates have been opened to your greatness. Hone on that, and your life is going to continue to skyrocket to the direction that it's meant to go, which is up only. All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys liked the video. Thank you kindly for supporting the Mindset Elevator. Stay up, everybody, and happy Thanksgiving for the Canadians. All right. And just live life to the fullest. And I'm going to see you guys soon. Okay. Bye.